Hey, it's Mitch Calvert Fitness, very creative with my business name. 11 years running, and you are on our free video training series on the best way to burn belly fat. Three-part video, and I promise to deliver on these three outcomes. The best way to diet to burn belly fat, the best workouts to burn belly fat, and the best way to sustain your results, because what's the point if you only lose it temporarily? So really quickly, who it's not for? CrossFit pros, maybe aspiring pro bodybuilders, someone that wants to get, super shredded and spend a lot of time in the gym and measure every morsel of food, 6 square meals a day in Tupperware. Long distance runners, don't work with those guys either. What this is about is busy parents in that 30 to 50 age range who just want to get in better shape than before they had kids. So we're not settling for less here, but doing it without cutting carbs or doing long cardio workouts. You've got to find a system that's sustainable and time efficient. So that's what we're going to share with you in these 3 videos. You may or may not know my backstory. I was 260 pounds, topped out at that in my early 20s, the furthest thing from a fitness person, and losing the weight, realizing there was a better way, and doing all the wrong things is what eventually led me to becoming a coach. And now 11 years later as a coach, and 20 years later since that transformation, we now work with the Free Press, CJOB, won some awards that don't mean a whole lot, but what I'm most proud of is there's actually over 1,400 now transformations and counting using this proven system we're going to share with you in these short videos. So the first myth we're going to dispel is that carbs are the enemy to success. A diet too low in carbs, hard to sustain for one, because every social engagement, every kid's birthday party you go to is not going to be keto compliant, right? You're going to have birthday cake. You want to be able to fit this stuff in. I went down this road in the past, ended up in the ER with a bowel obstruction. No fault of the diets necessarily. I wasn't consuming enough vegetables with it, but it was extreme, and I'm about anti-extremism, okay? James got over his carb phobia, just as proof in the pudding here, the 6-month difference, but ended up losing 60 pounds, eating 150 grams of carbs a day. They're not the enemy. Overall calories is what you would need to focus on. That's what we're going to talk about. So here's the simple math. You can go to mitchcalvert.com/calculator to do this for yourself. It depends on how fast you want to lose the belly fat, but you do have to make protein a priority. So we talk about a calorie goal, protein goal, plus or minus 10%. You end up somewhere in there, you're going to lose fat optimally. Okay, so do the simple math. You're 200 pounds, multiply that by 11, that gives you a calorie total for the day. Then we want to break up the macros. So I would say if you want to take this a little slow and steady, 30% of calories from protein. Make that your standard. If you want faster results, increase that up to 40%. You'll get better results. Now that means less carbs and less fat, but you see the numbers here based off that 40% formula. All right, so how do you do it in a way that allows you to enjoy your weekends? Well, you simply structure it a little differently. So we don't want this where you start super strict Monday through Wednesday, then you start to eat more, and the weekend just goes to crap. Right? That doesn't work. Neither does the one-way cheat day formula where you're super rigid and then you go crazy ham and blow up. We want to structure it in a way that it kind of tailors the calories to your activity levels. So maybe you're not working out on Tuesday, you're at the office for long hours, your mind is somewhere else. You make that one of your lower calorie days. Then it gives you room for a Friday, Saturday where you bump up the numbers quite a bit. This is still having you lose body fat consistently at 2,000 calories, right? 200 pounds. So that's one simple way to structure it. It looks like this is a bird's eye view. You can kind of pick and choose the days where you have something that requires more food. You want to be able to indulge. And then the days you don't, you might lower it. Lower than you may like, but it balances out those other days. You could be 2,000 right across the board if that's how your mind works. But generally speaking, our life's set up for a bit of flexibility and flex. So lastly, just quickly to touch on this point, a few quick things you can do to expedite belly fat loss in conjunction with your diet is these finishers. Some science suggests you get some blood flow to that core area, right, belly fat, with a cardio finisher, i.e. do a plank, do some battle ropes, do sprints on a stationary bike and crunches. Doing that will help expedite belly fat loss, knowing that it majors in the minors. It's not going to do much if the major pieces aren't into place on that calorie control. I talk about this sometimes if you've got maybe a dinner out or you're going to a friend's and you're not sure what they're serving you. You do an Autobahn fast or PUF. PUF, protein and produce only fast. So you're not starving, but you're filling up on low volume or high volume, low calorie foods, protein and produce primarily. You know what I'm thinking of when I say that, I bet. And you go in with this big buffer so that you can have a 1,500 calorie dinner and still be within your framework, right? You could add an extra wrinkle to these fasted days where you do some cardio in that window. I'm not going to stress about it. If you're walking, getting your steps in, this is kind of just redundant, I would argue, unless you're trying to prep for a bodybuilding show. And if you are, you've come to the wrong place. We already talked about that. Protein shake or a big glass of water before meals. Studies show you'll eat less overall. And this new science, which is GLP-1 agonists. So these have to get approved and prescribed by a doctor. I don't recommend them for someone just looking to lose the last 10 pounds. But if you struggle with your weight, you binge eat, you basically are classified as obese, these can be a good supplement to the right training and exercise program because they crush cravings. Now, some people get physically sick from them. That's not ideal, but you start the dose low, see how you respond. They just make it a lot easier to adhere to a good plan. Okay, so please discuss with your doctor. Not something you can just order online. All right, so we will come back with video number 2, which is how to work out optimally to lose belly fat. If you want to jump the queue, though, we are happy to book you in for a free consultation. Right? You can do what you've learned on your own. I would guess with some trial and error, you'll make some progress, or just schedule a chat. We actually give you a custom tailored plan like this, whether you team up with us or not. It gives you a little bit more intel into what you need to do to get started. And simply go to workwithmitch.ca or click that button right below this video. Otherwise, I will see you back with video 2, and we'll go from there. Cheers.